Well, thank you again for doing this.
Of course, yeah.
This interview is different than most you might hear from first responders like J.D. Chisholm.
Oh, the majority of the time, 99% of the time, we're first on scene.
It's because this interview removes the facade that these first responders aren't deeply impacted by the scenes they respond to.
There's times where you run calls that stick with you and they sit with you for a long time. In the last 2 months, there was that 100-car pileup right there at 6th Avenue in Santa Fe. We were there, and that was just, we had to cut out 6 different people utilizing the jaws of life, the cutters, the spreaders. We had to forcibly remove the vehicle so that we could get the patients out.
In 2020, a year when more people than ever stayed off the roadways due to the pandemic, the United States saw a 5% rise in its number of traffic deaths when compared to the previous 3-year average. It was only one of 3 developed nations that saw such a rise, when other countries like Sweden, France, and Italy all saw decreases of more than 23%.
Americans are now more likely to die on the roadways than residents of most other developed countries, which is a major crisis we should be talking about.
Yona Freemark is a researcher at the Urban Institute who studies this very matter. He says the issue comes down to a few things. First, Americans emphasize the use of personal vehicles more than any other nation. And not only that, we drive SUVs more than any other nation. The added height and weight make them deadlier. We also haven't taken many of the steps other countries have to prioritize safety rather than reducing congestion. Among them, tightening roadway lanes, using traffic circles, and strengthening traffic enforcement.
Right now, we have no requirements at the federal level that arterial highways that are built by state departments of transportation incorporate pedestrian safety features, minimize roadway traffic speeds, or anything of that sort. That could produce even more fatalities in the coming years.
Here's an example. In 1993, people in the US and France were equally as likely to die in a traffic crash, whereas today, Americans are 3 times more likely to die in a crash than the French. And it's not only affecting us on the roads, it's affecting first responders who expose themselves each time they respond to a crash.
A good majority of our line of duty deaths in the history of the Denver Fire Department are related to some sort of traffic accident. When you look across the country, there are a significant amount of firefighters who are injured or killed on the scene of firefighters because of how extremely dangerous that environment is.
Moving forward, Yona says prioritizing safety features like traffic circles and speed enforcement can help cap the trend, if not reverse it, since the numbers show what we prioritize now has placed us in a category of our own. I'm Dan Grossman.